here we go. So the difference between VAR and the Prem compared to European competitions is that the Premier League use VAR to protect the refs, and Europe use it to get the right decisions.
Welcome back to the Lose to Win podcast with myself, Josh, Jack, and Ben. How are we doing, lads?
Good evening.
All gravy.
Was that a super deep voice you just randomly put on there?
Well, sorry. I'm feeling a little playful this evening, obviously.
And he started, so he must finish with that now.
Got to keep it up the whole way.
No. Yes, really well. Yeah, I'm good, actually, lads. Nice to see you all. How are we?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate.
How's the leg?
It's all right. I had a physio appointment yesterday, and she was happy with the amount of movement I can do, but she's not happy with the amount of strength I've lost because of the injury. So she has put me in for yet another MRI. She thinks something might have been missed.
Oh.
So I'm not sure what to expect now. So it's walking's much better. I was walking around London yesterday off to the Emirates Stadium and in back and forth for the tube, and that wasn't too bad. So yeah, it's now a waiting game for I've been referred to the orthopedics, and the orthopedics will then conduct a MRI scan and see what else is going on. So we shall see. Yeah. What the physio said is what's confusing her and concerning the most is that it was not a twist or an impact, it was a hyperextension.
Mm-hmm.
And she said we normally see this sort of injury from a twist or an impact. One thing that Luke did actually mention when Luke asked yesterday about an update on it, he said the chances are, obviously I took a while away from football, didn't I? That took about 6-8 weeks basically.
Yeah.
And because I'd been playing so regularly and then kind of threw myself straight back in the deep end and carried on, he thinks maybe there may have been a that could have something to do with it, which does make sense if there's a bit of
maybe
muscle, not fatigue, what's it, muscle relaxing or muscles less. What's the right way of saying it? The muscles were a lot less engaged than what they had been. If you think about playing 3 or 4 times a week to not play at all.
A bit of muscle wastage. Your poor old muscles is wasting away, and then you put a load of pressure on it again.
Yeah, so I feel much better with it. I feel much more comfortable walking with it. I know not to do anything too soon. But let's see. I think it's one of those.
Oh, fair play. Well, at least you're feeling a bit okay. How about you, Josh? How was your week, mate?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I'm good. I feel like I'm going in the right direction. So all is well.
Good.
I feel my spirits have lifted a bit. So I'm just back in the swing of things, really.
Have you
routine, man? Routine is a killer, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
It's good and bad.
Have you managed to collate all your results from your latest Man v Fat Challenge week?
I have all my results collated into a shareable form of media as yet to be done, basically. So
excellent.
We will get there. So apologies to those waiting on this. I will get there, but in the meantime, there are plenty
I'd quite like
of
to see it as a recipe book.
Yeah.
Josh's Man v Fat snack recipe book.
It'll be a lot of like pots of jelly and like skinny whip bars and things like this.
Yeah, little bags of Haribo.
Treat yourself for less than 100 calories.
Yeah,
with Josh.
That's funny. We should potentially come to that in the challenge. Maybe, I'll go through the roundup and then we'll come back to that. I'll have to try and remember precisely my part in that one, to be honest. But anyway, so week 6 saw goals galore on and off the pitch. 21 on the pitch, real life back of the net scorchers, with every team scoring at least one, and they were joined by 24 last man standing goals and 2 goals which were handed out from the snack based team challenge that we put on this week, plus the usual rich pickings of weight loss goals, tracking goals, hat tricks, milestones, etc. So the results then: Oranges won a tight and high scoring game, 21-19 against the Purples.
Wow.
It was very impressive. That was very impressive. Then us yellows and blacks played out a slightly lower scoring encounter where the blacks won 9-7.
Still close.
Then the whites lost 19-11 to the reds. And the blues won 16-13.
You blues
against the greens. Well. Yeah. So headline news, I guess, is that your purples had your first defeat of the season.
We lost.
Yeah, losing a high-scoring encounter with the oranges. It's a result that allows oranges to usurp the purples at the top of the Scales League, as well as allowing the reds to move level with the previously untouchable purples in the main league, albeit with a much smaller goal difference. So the
wide open.
Reds also claimed top spot in the pitch league. Their comprehensive, I should say, victory over the whites, giving them a 1-point lead over closest challengers, the blacks.
Good team, the Reds.
Yeah, good team. Yeah. Biggest losers of the week were the blues, who shifted a collective 8.6 kilos.
Oh,
very well done. Very well done. With greens next best on 4.7 kilos.
Well done, greens.
Yeah, indeed. Oranges and whites were only just behind greens, whilst the reds sneaked in with a narrow overall loss and the other two teams going the wrong way, unfortunately. As the club, we lost a healthy 18.9 kilos, with 48 players out of 69 losing weight. That puts us on 149.5 kilos for the season, despite not reaching the halfway point yet.
That 300's in sight then, isn't it?
It's there, it's there, it's close, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we've never managed a 300 kg season yet.
No.
But we're certainly on track if everyone keeps pulling and losing weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need everyone to be engaged right up to last week.
Yeah. Yes. It's key, isn't it?
Is that why you lost, Ben? Was it to keep people interested?
Keep people interested. Exactly. So come on,
tactical losing for the benefit of the league there.
Come on, boys. We can't go smashing everyone every week. We've got to look a little bit vulnerable.
Lure us in.
Yeah. If only.
There were 19 hat-tricks this week, and the circle narrowed in the last man standing. So 7 men dropped out, leaving 24 survivors to enjoy a bonus goal for reaching the last 30. Those who make the last 15 will start scoring a goal every week that they can stay in the competition.
The last, how many was it? How many?
15.
15. Yes, not miles off. 9 away.
Not far, is it?
Yeah.
Every team has at least 2 players still standing, we should say. With purples, you have 5, oranges 5, and reds 4. Currently the best represented.
Yeah.
Amongst the leagues. So again, a close one there. There are 3 milestone men to celebrate. Carl Pidgley and Ramsey Al-Masri both earned their 5% certificates. In Carl's case, those 3 goals proved decisive in securing victory for his oranges against the previously unbeaten purples. So very well done there, Carl.
Yeah,
well done,
Carl.
Ramsey was also on the winning side this week, but his reds were comfortably in front, even without his well-earned triple. The biggest milestone, though, comes from Josh Buxton, who Josh has had. I know he's had the community talking all season, consistently losing weight, losing enough weight to have a regular spot in team of the week. Plot spoiler: he's kind of done it again, making it an unprecedented 9 weeks in a row. As a result, he's smashed his way through the 10% barrier. Having only joined the club in August, he's now lost an incredible 21.9 kilos,
Jesus.
Including 14 kilos in the 6 weeks of this season.
Wow.
Good work, lad.
It's a phenomenal start to his time at Man v Fat and an inspiration to the rest of us. If this week's 3.2 kilo loss is anything to go by, there's plenty more to come on that one. And I have to, I haven't done the average, but 21.9 over 9 weeks, obviously over 2 kilos a week, isn't it? So, which is
run out of things to say about him. Just so good at it as well. Like even this week, so we carried on in the blues the step challenge. We then got into sharing our daily calories intake as a little. We did a captain's challenge, which was Rob's step challenge, and then Con did a vice captain's challenge, which was the calories, just to make people more aware of it and take more ownership of it, and sharing it with the group is a good way of kind of going, this is what I'm doing, and sharing good practices and things like that.
Yeah.
And this week, I don't know whose idea it was, but we're also now doing a water one as well. So we're just kind of sharing how many litres of water we're drinking a day. So the chat is absolutely humming with screenshots of all two. So I should say the water is just somebody typing in, but without fail. And what cracks me, takes a few steps back as well with Josh. What cracks me up as well is that I think Ryan Broadbank had an absolute stunning Sunday because he's playing Sunday League football again. So he had like 16,000 steps or something crazy. Yeah. So that just spurred Josh on from potentially having a bit of a more chilled one on a Sunday, going, no, I'm not having that. I'm going to go out and go for a walk and smash it. So his numbers are just incredible every single day. There's absolutely no sign of him letting up whatsoever. So be warned, the rest of the league, this is a man on a mission. And he is absolutely smashing it, and the biggest team player there is. And one final bit on Josh as well is that his footballing ability has come on leaps and bounds, and that has come with his confidence and stepping away from weight loss and whatever the weight loss league, just football. We all know what confidence does to football teams, football players. The confidence he has within himself, and now his ability to play football as well, is unrecognisable. The amount of weight he's lost already, his demeanour, the way that he is, everything is just so impressive and just such a strong asset to the league. And very, very lucky to be on the same team as him. So
it's absolutely amazing. Yeah.
I think at the moment he would say, I'll give you the answer, he's miles off finished and where he needs to be, and I think he is so determined to keep going and being the amazing loser level and all of that sort of thing. He's fully brought in and doing an incredible job. So
he's hit his 2 milestones this season.
He has, So whatever else is going to be banked, and that certainly isn't going to stop him or slow him down. But he is flying. And
amazing,
And if anybody does need a little bit of inspiration or a little bit of a chat with him, just collar him and go, what are you doing so well? What is it? I can tell you he's so strict on his calories, and he's also inventively looking for new healthy things to eat and do. He's not just sticking to one thing. He's always, when we're sharing recipes, he's always sharing photos of something else he's found at a different supermarket or something else he really likes and really enjoying. It's so healthy and positive for the team. It's him alone is pulling us all along for sure.
Good lad.
Yeah, amazing.
So I started by saying I've run out of words, but there's quite a few words in there for him.
Talk about 10 minutes there, Jackie.
He is he's absolutely fantastic, and a credit to himself. And keep going, mate. Well done.
Yeah. Excellent. One thing I did note about your team, Jack, actually watching them on Friday, is that you're very try to get everyone involved on the pitch.
Absolutely,
Jordan, Harry, everyone, literally everyone in the team is getting everyone else involved on the pitch, and that's also. It's just noticeable, basically. So everyone's getting. I know Josh almost scored a couple. On Friday.
Honestly, no disrespect to anybody that we're playing when Josh does score, because he is going to score soon. The celebration is going to be mega, and it's not a slight or disrespect to whoever we're playing. It's going to be a pile on Josh, because he is the most deserving player on that team to bag himself a goal, and he is so close, so close. So just a heads up, when that happens, don't take it personally. It's
nothing. Oh no, I'll be celebrating. Trust me.
Nothing.
And we're playing you this week, so.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, Josh, you could just accidentally step into the box for us and give him a pen. That would be amazing. I'll get him to push you.
I'm not that generous. Sorry, Josh. If you're listening.
You won't get a pen for that anyway, mate.
Yeah.
So it's all good, mate. And with the Blues as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just frantically scrolling in the chat. I think we're the top losers 2 weeks in a row as well. I think the week before last we were the biggest losers in terms of team numbers. Yeah. And that is, again, the team unity. We're winning some, we're losing some. We're not the best on the pitch. We're not the worst on the pitch. It's just the right balance of both, and it's going really well. And a good bunch of lads. And H is also a new person. This is Harry, a new person into the group, and has really hit the ground running with it as well. So well done, the pair of them, really.
Yeah, very well done.
Good work.
Yeah. And you were right. Yes, Blues were the biggest losers 2 weeks in a row now.
And we're definitely
purple patch.
We're definitely going. Oh, it has to come back to purple, doesn't it?
We've been talking about Blues for the last 15 minutes.
You're trying to get me to make this Purples podcast again, aren't you?
We're definitely pushing for three weeks in a row with the top losers. That'd be lovely. So
it'll be Blues podcast at the moment, Ben. Don't worry.
Totally.
As long as it's not Blue Moon, I'll be happy.
Yeah. I can't even remember where I was on the
finishing off the roundup. Did you finish it?
Yes. Anyway, Oscar Selleck-Piley, by the way, I should say, leads Team of the Week with a stunning 3.6 kilo loss.
Very good.
And the two players survived from last week's Magnificent Seven with obviously Josh Buxton, joined by the cat-like keeper Phil Haley. So the names are as follows. Yeah. Oscar at the top with 3.6. Then we had Josh Buxton, as we mentioned, with 3.2. Then Ant Scareman with 1.8.
Nice.
John Costa with 1.6. Phil Haley with 1.5. Tim Green with 1.4. Russ Keats with 1.4. And Ryan Broadbank rounds it out with 1.4. There you go. 3 Blues in that list there. Yeah. We'll make sure this is titled Blues Podcast if you want to continue.
Blues Podcast. You Blues.
It may be all change it may not be, I should say, all change at the top of the leagues, but at business as usual on the scales. Keep it going, lads, really. Every kilo loss is another step towards a healthier, happier you.
Absolutely.
Happy days.
Yeah, that way. Very happy days.
Yeah.
It's been a very good season. Everyone's been fantastic, really, to be honest. We're steady.
So
it's
far,
consistent. You know, those numbers that we've got weekly.
Yeah,
across the league, we're within a pretty consistent range.
Yeah.
And that's always a great sign.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, though, just need to keep the motivation going through the rest of the season. The fact that it's nice and close, actually, at the top is there's a good sort of 4, 5, 6 teams probably who can potentially take something out of this season at the halfway point is really good for the league, because it means that everyone will stay engaged and should see it through.
Yeah. Well, I've noted in our team, for example, we've not had the run of results we feel that we've deserved. You know, we've not got the best start. I think, to be fair, we might actually be bottom, but the motivation isn't any different. You know, I don't think it's dropped off at all.
That's good
so far. So, which is a really good sign.
Yeah, that is good.
You know, so we keep plugging away, really, and I think because we know wins will come, and we know it's benefit for us ultimately.
Yeah, of course they will.
Yeah, and we were top of the pitch league until this last week. So
yeah,
you know, there's an element of, I know that's a separate thing, but it's, you know,
well, it's always nice to be top of something, isn't it? I know
gives you a good feeling when you go away.
Of course it does. Of course it does. It's a combination, isn't it? It's a combination of the two. You want to play well on the pitch, because that's what gives you the lift. We've lost the last 3 weeks on the bounce on the pitch, which has been tough. Don't really know why that's happened. We've missed Jogs for a few weeks, when obviously he's quite a key player for us on the pitch, but the last week was a real difficult one, because we came up against the Oranges, whose was smashing weight loss as well, who also had similar numbers with sort of hat tricks and last man standing and stuff, so it was always going to be close.
Yeah.
But then they got the percentage. Yeah, which made the difference. So yes, it was a close one. Good one. Close one on the pitch as well. It's a good game.
Yeah, our game with the Blacks was a tight one. I was just saying to Sam and Dom yesterday when I saw them that we didn't really. It was one of the few games recently where we were just a little all over the place. Not in a bad way. We were just kind of chasing the ball a lot.
Yeah.
When you get like that, and that was all credit to the Blacks, to be honest.
Yeah,
they pushed us back, and it was very much like, you know, we played eights and we were like, oh, eights is a bit tight, or maybe it doesn't suit us, but we played eights the 2 previous weeks and it worked wonders. So I like the competitiveness on the pitch. It's good so far. Teams look pretty even. There's not really any, you know, It's very, very rare we have any seriously big results. As I know you had a couple to start the season, Ben, but I went,
Yeah, a bit of anomalies those, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. League is healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Very much
yeah,
so.
good to see.
Blacks definitely have the ability to, like you just mentioned, pulling you all over the place. Having watched and played them last season, they certainly have that within them to do, don't they? Especially when you've got Dom pulling the strings.
They're all very calm on the ball as well. They pass and move the ball really, really well.
So they've got Dom, Dave, Craig, Chris. I'm trying to think who else plays for them. Sam. Yeah, they're all
Sonny.
Absolutely.
Tom and
Sonny as well.
He wasn't there. I don't think last week, but
absolutely capable footballers,
Tom,
aren't they?
Tom and Tom.
Yeah, Tom and Tom.
Yeah, they're a good team, definitely. Well, they won a triple last season, didn't they? So I mean, and they've got the two new lads, Oscar and
Lewis. Yeah,
who are both doing really well.
Good, yeah.
Do we have any newbies joining at the moment? I know we've got a bit of a waiting list.
Yes, we are full.
Departed?
We've lost one in our team this week.
Have you? Who's that?
Jaws Lucas had to step back. He's now starting to work Fridays.
Oh, okay.
Which is a bit of an issue. Obviously, he's just had a baby boy, so
he's getting married soon as well, isn't he? I think he was saying.
So all the best to him if you're listening, by the way. It's like to see you back soon, but in the meantime, we might get a new player this week or next. So, but with them, we'll be full again. So, we've got a list.
So how many have we got on the waiting list?
I don't honestly know. So
I know
apologies.
one
I'm sure
person
Steve will be
this.
pulling his hair out listening, going, "Oh, Josh, I told you." But
I've told you, Josh.
Yeah.
You never say the right things, Josh.
There's a returner, Ben. I think you played on Reds with him as well, Mike Andrews.
Oh, is Mikey coming back?
Yeah.
He's on the waiting list, so Josh, you might get him. Very good footballer.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Boy, I've played with Mike many times.
Of course you have. He's super competitive as well.
Just
good luck, lads.
Yeah.
You can't take the Scouser out of Liverpool. Well, sorry, you can take the Scouser. Well, I don't know what the phrase is, but
something like that anyway. Yeah.
He's got his fiery Scouseness about him. Love him. Good lad. Really good lad.
He's a good lad. He's a softie at heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We digress anyway. I should probably move on to just a quick thing around the challenge we had. I say it was a challenge. It was more of an incentive rather than a challenge. But the spirit of sharing was in the air. It was all about sharing snacks that were under 100 calories with the group, essentially with me, really. And you would get essentially a raffle ticket for everyone you shared, and then the team with the most unique submissions would also get a goal for their team. So it worked out. I don't know, to be honest, in the end, it was a great experiment, should we say, because we had over 200 unique snack submissions across the league, which I will get to compiling, as I mentioned early on at some point, showing that even if you tend not to snack, and there are many people who try to avoid snacking, of course, for those that do, there is no lack of low-calorie options available to you.
Yeah, that's good.
Purples, your team won a goal for the most unique submissions of 70, bearing in mind a few of those were from James Hunt and his many of his homemade / catering related ones, which I will share the recipes, which he's very kindly said he will share.
Yeah, they're
with
not
me.
Difficult.
So we will share all of that anyway. And he's very graciously said he would. So you earned a bonus goal, and then the raffle went to Gareth.
Yeah, I think we need to look into that a bit more closely. I didn't get my numbered raffle tickets. I didn't get any numbers saying these are your entries.
It's because I did digital. I just went 1 through 230 odd or whatever numbers it was in order of submission. So when I received the message and then went through, allocated a number, to
get a little raffle tickets and then run a little raffle. It didn't happen.
Don't talk to me about raffle tickets, mate. I got PTSD from the last time with those. I've still got AIDS. I'm showing for the people listening. I'm showing the boys AIDS free round of golf at Ferndown Forest is sat still at my desk. Jesus. So by the time we're doing the next one, he might collect it or say he wants it. Yeah.
Anyway, so
fair play, Josh, mate. It's very well done, mate.
He had quite a limited chance, let's just say, because he shared almost exclusively fruit with me, which is a snack.
Just fruit.
Yeah, being on the orange team. But he, so he got the bonus raffle, which of course he played you as a purples, and then it was 1-1 basically on that one. So it was quite a bit of a wipeout. But it's a shame or luck, whatever way you see it, that's how it worked out. But
yeah.
It's a small thing, isn't it? I think snacking. I think this is kind of where I wanted to just move on to the conversation really a little bit. Is it's quite a big part of most people's lives. Not everyone's, admittedly. There are people who try to cut it out ultimately. I'm not a massive advocate personally, and it's not like I've got any supreme wisdom on this, of cutting snacks entirely. But it's more just trying to find the ones that I think are going to work for me. Keep me satiated at stuff in those moments of boredom or
I agree,
craving, but not piling on calories and not going towards chocolate and things like that. So an alternative to that would be ideal. And that's I think where this whole thing came in. You do have to be a little bit
careful though, because can be a bit of false what's the word? I want to say false gratification, because you go, well, I can have a couple of them because they're only 68 calories or whatever, but then you might eat all 5 of them. So you do have to still kind of self-police yourself and go, okay, I'm having this snack that's only 80 calories instead of eating a snack that might be 200 calories.
Yeah.
And so you're making a healthier, better choice, but you have to be careful not to get into the mindset of, well, there are only so many calories, so I can have a couple of them or 3 of them, or I can have some in the morning and some in the evening, because you end up just doing the same thing. So you still do have to self-police it, but of course that's part of the whole process anyway. You have to do that anyway. So don't rely on that. But I found it's really helped. I stopped snacking for a while when I was doing the fasting stuff, and I really struggled, because you just get those little pangs, don't you? And all that happens is instead of having a small nut, you end up just eating a load more at lunchtime or whatever. When lunchtime comes around, you just end up shoveling an extra load of stuff in because you're super hungry. So I find it helps, and you only need a little mouthful of something just to kind of put you on till your next mealtime or whatever. And that seems to be working. So
the biggest kind of, it's not under 100 calories, but the biggest thing I found as a replace, like you said, you don't want to have more of something because it's less, if that makes sense. A direct replacement, one of the best things I found, because I'm a sucker for a Ben and Jerry's ice cream, and they are calorific like crazy.
Absolutely.
We get those Halo top ones that the whole tub are 360 calories. Granted, I'm now at the stage that I don't think I eat a whole tub in one go, if that makes sense. And where I would easily do a Ben and Jerry's, just sat there scooping it, watching shit on TV. So there's loads of options with it, and I think we touched on it last week, but I'm looking forward to seeing the list published to be able to kind of go. And again, from my experience of a perfect example today, driving back from London this afternoon, I stopped to get some petrol, and I was really hungry, and I stopped at a petrol station that had an M&S food in, pay the earth for anything decent, and I was kind of walking around going, oh, what can I have? Ended up getting a couple of apples and some grapes.
Well done.
And that is a good choice, but that is something that I know I would get pretty bored of quickly. So if I had that instead of that fruit, or something a little bit more exciting, a little bit more something a bit different, I would definitely have gone quick scroll. What can I have? What can I have? What's good? What's this? And go from there. And that makes such a difference. And I definitely, for one, and I'm not just saying it because you're here, Josh, it's definitely something that I look forward to seeing as a catalogue, as the opportunity to go and go, oh, I fancy something savoury. Let me just open up that savoury section of it and go, oh, yeah, let's try that. And then something sweet maybe the other way. And it's definitely something that will help rather than hinder. It's only going to help.
Ultimately, it's all the, I'm just looking at my list, to be honest. Ultimately, it's all the fruit and veg that's going to be the best for you. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows it's the fruit and veg. It's going to be the best for you. It's going to be the lower kind of calorie end of things. But as you say, it's out of boredom, out of just satiation for something sweet. You might want something just a little bit that takes the edge off. And ultimately, it's quite a few things in here that I was requested quite a lot. So I don't know why, but skinny whip bars came up a lot. It's like
it's satisfying cravings, isn't it? That's what it is. You have a craving for something naughty. We're all in that situation that we've obviously gone wrong with our diet somewhere down the line to need to be in the program and doing what we're doing, and it's very difficult to get out of that that kind of need or desire to have something a bit naughty or something a bit sweet. But it's also not people that are a healthy BMI and whatever. They still enjoy their sweet treats from now and then. It's everything in moderation. Yeah. But if we can find something that can certainly help us along that journey and take that extra couple of 100 calories off of what we're having for no reason, or that kind of scenario, why not?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'd have to compile it really for you, to be honest. Fiber One bars a lot if you're looking at those kind of bar things, chocolate bars or that kind of related. Again, as I say, a lot of fruit and veg in there. There's small little packs of like mango chunks or things like this that you can get that are a little bit different than just having an apple or a banana, but it's still fruit. Things like that. Some yogurts in there. Some Muller Lights are in there quite a bit. Things like this.
Yeah.
There's yogurts. It's sweet. Funnily enough, those jelly pots, Hartley's jelly pots that are like 10 or 11 calories or whatever they are.
Okay, come up a lot.
We're in a lot. Yeah,
every flavour under the moon from as well, I bet.
Yeah, I've never even considered those because I just figured. But that's the kind of thing for me where it would only be, not because I'm hungry. It'd be because I just want something sweet.
Yeah.
Not knowing I'm not hungry. And so even if I had 10 of them, it's like just to like stop myself in that sweet tooth bit, that craving, to get over it. Maybe. I'm not saying it is. I don't know because I've not really had any, but maybe that's the kind of thing I can get behind and go, okay, this will stop me from going for chocolate all the time if I just have access to a few of these.
Just make a massive bowl of jelly.
Yeah. Something like that anyway. So
you get sick of it pretty quick, I bet.
That's the thing. Yeah.
But then there's ultimately a lot of people who sent me not like lower calorie versions, but lower calorie versions of certain crisps. So instead of having your pack of hula hoops that's like 120 calories, you're having pop chips or I don't know what, something different. That are a little bit different, or that's 70 calories rather than 120. And so small things like that came up quite a bit as well. So I will compile this and get it out to everyone in a format that's I think benefits people. And I'm hoping to do a little bit more in terms of research on some alternatives as well. So rather than just list specifically what I was given, maybe just a few alternatives that are quite similar that you can find elsewhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd be a benefit as well. So but it's definitely something to think about, isn't it? Snacking, and definitely something that a lot of people will say they've struggled with, or whereas as we've mentioned, there are kind of two ways on it really.
It's the
some don't want to do it,
effect,
some do.
Isn't it? That's the killer.
Yeah,
with snacking.
Definitely.
Anyway,
sweet.
Well
did
done,
want
mate.
to. Well, thank you. Yeah, no worries. I know it wasn't a particularly challenging challenge. Let's just say, there will be more physical. There will be another physical challenge to come.
Ooh.
So yeah.
What's that then?
Well,
come on, spill the beans.
No.
Come on, give us a little teaser.
Or at least what week is it coming?
Yeah,
well,
we'll know the week.
Weeks 9 and 12 are the next two.
My bad. Okay.
We haven't confirmed which we're going to do, which way round we're going to do it.
Okay,
I think it a little bit depends on where we are in the season, how it's going, whether we feel there's a benefit of doing one over the other. But let's just say one is a physical challenge, one is kind of a guessing game. Let's just put it that way. Getting you thinking about a bit about calories really. So that's one of them. That gives you an idea of what it's going to be. Okay. So that not really a challenge so much as an incentive, or maybe a thought about your calorie intake.
Yeah.
The other one is a physical challenge. It's not going to be for every single person in the league. It's going to be for a select few people in the league, or selected by teams, which you will hear more about.
Oh God!
So, and it does form a part that we said, and I know Jack, you said this before, that maybe incentivizes people to push that a little bit too hard on the weight loss, but we're not sure yet. So we think it's going to be of benefit. Let's just say.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well,
but that's why we're experimenting with these ideas.
Yeah, fair.
Because otherwise we could have done a step challenge every single week for goals the whole season. Kept it nice and boring.
Yeah, don't do that. It's good to mix
and then we'll see. So any feedback, by the way, from anyone of the first two challenges, let me know. Genuinely anything, any constructive, hopefully, criticism as well. Obviously,
there'll be plenty of criticism, mate. There won't be much constructive.
Yeah, I got a bit of that already. Don't worry. But honestly, it's all good because we want to know. Because ultimately, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if it works, and it works. So
exactly. Yeah.
Good stuff, mate. Well done.
Yes, very good.
The next thing I want to do just quickly is a word on something that has been come around mainly over the pond, across the pond. We mentioned previously the MAVIFAT community have put something out about this already.
Yeah.
But it was surrounding the MAVIFAT soccer community out in Florida in particular.
Yeah.
As you'll no doubt aware or have seen in the news that there's been recent hurricanes in Florida. The storms in particular have affected MAVIFAT soccer communities in Tampa and surrounding areas and caused major destruction to the lives of our guys out there, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
This included MAVIFAT Tampa Bay coach Michael Hess in particular, whose place of work, a school for neurodiverse children, suffered around $2 million worth of damage.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Awful.
Which is terrible news. And we're keen to show our support essentially for our American brothers, and MAVIFAT have set up a fundraiser to help the children at the lift school that Michael works with. So there is a fundraising link which I will share at the outset of this podcast in the description, both on YouTube and Spotify. We will share it in the group as well. Cool. It's a Just Giving page, crowdfunding for MAVIFAT, their lift school related. So any contributions, both at an individual level or any club-led fundraisers, would of course be gratefully received.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not much more I can say, really.
Is there anything we could do with the next interclub, Jackie? Maybe we could do something from that.
Good idea. I hadn't thought about that. What I was going to say is obviously absolutely devastating to see. And before we started recording, we looked at some of the photos and some of the articles about it, and it is harrowing and something completely out of their control, and something that I'm sure we can do something. The 11s is a great shout. Alternatively, or alongside that, I think it's worth considering what we could potentially do as a group. We have some pretty incredible people in amongst us and clever people that might be able to come up with something creative, inventive that we can do a little bit of fundraising for. I am super appreciative that times are difficult for us also, and also it's a difficult time of year, so there's absolutely zero pressure on anybody donating anything, more on the fact that if we can do something to help, even if it's a couple of quid in a tin, then let's try and do what we can. See what we can do as a group and go from there. But I think we've got the brain power amongst us to come up with something pretty cool, and I want to see us do a group donation. We've done it before. We can do it again. Let's have a think. Just off the top of my head, we've proven that we're pretty good at steps. There's a chance we could do a little step challenge or whatever that may be. Try and get yourself sponsored to do 100,000 steps in a week or whatever that may be. Just off the top of my head, something like that. If we can ask friends, family, work colleagues, whatever, just to see what we can do. But yeah, it's
certainly anything would help, wouldn't it?
Awful to see. We've got an amazing community. What I would say is it's always nice to do it together. So if you do plan on just chucking some money into the GoFundMe, great, but maybe let's do it all together. Let us know and we can store it somewhere. We've got a few accounts between me and Josh that are around the 11s and the hardship fund that we can save the money up in and do it all as one. I think you also get a significant amount of gift aid if you do it as a larger amount as well. So it's always whatever we can do to do that and make it better for them. Let's do it.
Yeah, cool. Love that.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well said, Josh, as well, mate. I think it's definitely something that we as a as a group can certainly help with.
Indeed. Well, as we mentioned, it's not much more to say other than hard times, isn't it, for many people, many things.
Very sad, indeed. On to footballing matters. Is there any topics that you guys want to talk about? I appreciate that the Bournemouth Arsenal game was a hot topic in the chat and something that is obviously close to my heart, having been there and witnessed it firsthand.
How was it in the away end? Sorry, home end.
I was sat in. Well, I was stood in the home end with some season ticket holders. So I managed to get a ticket from a friend of Jordan's who was happy to give me. I think his dad couldn't make it or something, so I had his ticket off him. I did pay for it, so the money has gone to the club before anybody has.
Was it a long, lonely afternoon?
Bitch and a winch. No, it was. Do you know what? I think if Arsenal were to lose to any team in the league, I'd prefer it to be Bournemouth over anybody. That being said, regardless of what happened with the red card and the penalty, Bournemouth absolutely deserved it.
They did. Yeah,
they played brilliantly. I think Jamie Carragher might have gone over a little bit over the top to say it was goal of the season that Christie scored, but it was. I
didn't even realise he said that.
Oh my God, he's done a whole
well
piece on
goal,
it.
To be fair,
incredible.
Goal.
And what more credit to the coaching staff that clearly came up with it. I think it's Stephen Purchase that's done it. He's been accredited it anyway. The three players that are involved. So Sinistera took the corner, Kluivert clipped it in or flicked it on, and Christie slammed it home as they were all substitutes. And they'd come on, I think it was like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes before. And they'd seen a weakness because Arsenal were down to 10. There was one less area that Arsenal's rigid defence in marking corners or defending corners, I should say, and they've exploited it to the absolute perfect degree. And Dylan, who I was stood with, George's mate, I genuinely said to him just before they took the penalty, "This is rolling," because Christie was on his own. I could see it myself. I was like, "This is rolling to Christie on the edge of the box, and he's slamming it in." And poor deal, he's got a built-in defibrillator, and he was going batshit. The whole stadium loved it, and it's more that it's Ryan Christie. Ryan Christie has been fantastic for Bournemouth this season and for a long time, but just doesn't score as many goals as he should. He always seems to hit posts or not be quite as efficient in front of goal as he should be. And Dill sat down for a second and was like, "I need a second." I was like, "Fucking hell, are you okay, mate?" It was hilarious and fair play to him and fair play to Bournemouth. They outplayed Arsenal, and Arsenal that lineup came out and it was, the writing was on the wall. With no Saka, we had zero creativity, and it was
a big miss, isn't he? Big miss.
Painful to watch. Yeah, I've seen a lot about Odegaard, and I think Arsenal haven't played overly well, but they've coped. We were seconds away from beating City without him. And other results, we beat PSG comfortably without him. And there's other results that we have ground out and done well. But when you lose both of them, I heard something like we hadn't been without either of them since the beginning of 2021. And I think that shows. I think they're Arsenal's best two players, probably outside of Saliba and Gabriel, that have clearly properly stepped up and become formidable. They are the most creative and probably Arsenal's best two players. And if you take any best two players out of any level of football of a team, you're banging trouble. And we don't have direct replacements for them. And at the moment, we're in a situation that Arsenal can't afford to spend 50, 60 million on players like City do that sit on the bench and occasionally come on. Like, it's just not feasible. And it was tough, but it was well deserved. And we've certainly had some debate back and forth in the group about the red card, and we all have opinions on it. The only that it's well trodden ground, and it's not, nobody's listening to it for an Arsenal podcast. I appreciate that. My only opinion on it is that the distance from goal was something that was brought up a lot, and that is subjective. That it's the referee's subjective decision to give what he gave, and that was a yellow card was the result of his subjective decision. So why did we need somebody else's subjective decision to overrule it? I think if he'd given a red card on the field, having not really been able to kind of tell from kind of depth perception where I was, because he was attacking the other goal, I couldn't quite work out where players were to cover, all of that sort of thing. You'd only see really well on a TV screen. So I think if he'd given a red card, straight red, I would probably have been more accepting of it, having understood it and thought about it more.
I get that.
But because it's somebody's, like I say, because it's somebody's subjective decision that has been overruled by somebody else's subjective decision, why it just doesn't make sense to me. But it is what it is. It was a foolish thing to do.
That's what it's for, though, isn't it? Though that's the thing. It's like it's to try and rule out those kind of subjective decisions, to give you another opportunity to have another look at it. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think the only thing that gave it really was the fact that Raya were back to 8. If Raya had kept going, they would never have sent him off.
There are so many things in that one specific, very nuanced scenario that led to a red card. It's just it's this when we talk about the difference between that and the one at Liverpool, there are just so many very small nuanced details that make the difference one way or the other. And as it's subjective, ultimately, as you said, any ref could have given it differently on the day and then gone to VAR or not gone to VAR, and then a ref would have given it in a different game, a very similar situation. It's all very.
I don't know
it's
that.
So it's all.
We have to scrutinise.
They do have some
everything.
Yeah, I know that's
to the nth.
That's what they've forced, haven't they? They've forced
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking the other day. I was thinking, this is purely. There's so much debate around this. I mean, there would have been debate if there was no VAR. Do not get me wrong. They would have. But I think back then, before VAR, people were just a little bit accepting about the fact that there was just no way of intervening. What's done is done.
Absolutely.
And now it's because of VAR, and you can see it on TV, and it's not even the fact that you can see it on TV, because you could see it before. It's the fact that now that other people are using the same thing that you are at home to scrutinise a decision on a profession, at that level, that I think that people are just less tolerant of, or at least debate is thrown in the air a little bit more, isn't there, around these things, and it's much more.
I think you're right. I think we debate it more because of VAR sadly, and I think that causes its own problems. And it
used to be just an argument. That was never a pen. Yes, it was. No, it weren't. Yeah, it was. Well, it's given now anyway, so fuck it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't get that anymore.
No. I am envious of Championship and Football League not having it, and
don't be, because we get robbed.
Well, that's it. But then you're always hit with a stick that what comes around goes around, and it all evens itself out eventually, unless you're Man City and you're paying the refs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's but I'm joking with that. I genuinely don't believe that that's a thing. But that's the next thing that's forever thrown at. And it did disappoint me to hear the chants that the Arsenal fans were singing.
I was trying to work out which fans it was singing it on the TV.
Oh, it was brilliant. The Bournemouth fans were singing the Saliba song, which was great banter, to be fair. Very, very funny. And the Arsenal fans would, because it's they sing the Trossard again, ole ole. So because obviously Trossard went through that patch, they started singing it, and they started singing like City again, ole ole, and then I think it went on to like cheated again or something like that, and I was like, just fucking build a bridge. Like at that point, it was pointless, and I get that away fans are away fans and we'll just sing until whatever. I've seen Leeds United at Bournemouth once 5-1 down, still singing the place out and giving it the beans, which I thought was fucking amazing, to be fair. It's just how it is, mate. It's just like, what can you do? Like,
right, and then I'm trying to go on. Sorry,
I was going to move on. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, come back to the VAR. You mentioned quickly about VAR in the Championship, and obviously no VAR. I can't remember who it is I asked the other day. Genuinely, I can't remember. But I asked them, do you prefer it without VAR in the Championship. I can't remember who I was talking to, but
the answer would be yes, definitely.
But yeah, well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Does this come back to the whole conversation of would we prefer to have it or not have it?
Yeah.
I think it's here to stay. I think we can just say it's a hypothetical, never going to happen question kind of thing. But still, it's.
I think how it's done in Europe,
eventually.
in the European competitions, is so much better. And there was something that was, again, it's not factual, but somebody had said something. I think I shared it. It's something like in Europe they manage it to prove that it was a goal, and the decision is a fair decision. In the Premier League, they're desperate for it to go the other way. I've got to find it because I shared it. It's worded better than I just said it, but it feels like there is definitely a difference between how it's done in Europe and how it's done here. And I think we are in a world where we do spend every Monday on TalkSport, every Monday morning, the first thing that's commented on is the refereeing decisions. And I'm guilty of it and whinging about it and get frustrated in it. Here we go. So the difference between VAR and the Prem compared to European competitions is that the Premier League use VAR to protect the refs and Europe use it to get the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. There's an element of that, but then I think the Arsenal one disproves it because he'd made a decision that he thought was the right decision, and then the refs gave what they thought was the VAR ref said, "Look at it again. I think you've got that decision wrong." So that kind of contradicts what I was talking about, but. It does feel like that.
Do they not have the balls to stick with their decision though? You very rarely see them go to the screen and go, do you know what? Actually, no, I'm right. I'm going to stick with my decision.
They did do it this
once
weekend.
Or twice I've seen it.
Actually, this last weekend, one of the referees went to the monitor and they didn't agree with. They agreed with the original decision.
I don't think it happens enough.
No, it's only done like 3 times all season. Then they've gone to the monitor and changed. They kept the original decision, but I think it's partly to do with the trust in the refs. It's a bit of a downward spiral. It's a bit of a it's a self,
but they won't do anything eventually.
In that the refs use VAR to not only give themselves confidence, but also to try and to actually try and make a correct decision.
Yeah.
But then it's also used, as you were saying, to almost second guess a decision of a ref because they don't have any confidence in it.
Yeah.
But maybe not in confidence in the ref, and then you get a load of media attention saying about how bad the refs are. And then they feel like they have to adjust or do something different or use VAR even more because they feel like, oh, maybe the refs are getting it, and it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're just going round in a circle. Totally. The refs are just going to keep losing confidence. They're going to keep making decisions and then being second-guessed by themselves and the VAR. And then it's just going to, you get more and more VAR intervention in areas where you shouldn't need it. More VAR intervention when, it's just...
Because what was Howard Webb up to as well, by the way?
Yeah,
I'm not saying he had any influence on it, but he's done himself zero favours. He's
probably having a laugh,
listening to it, isn't he?
He's probably having a laugh.
Yeah, he should almost.
We do this.
But almost that's like it. It's like having your boss sitting right behind you at work, going, "Oh, hang on a second. What did you just type there?" Kind of thing. Like, I almost think it doesn't help. Doesn't help referees, does it?
The big thing is that he attends games, and Bournemouth being the tiny stadium it is, he sticks out like a sore thumb. It's not hard to find somebody with a camera in that stand. No. And he was always going to be in the in the expensive seats. What I'm sure he goes to multiple games and does it very similar, but such a shit situation for him to be caught listening to the VAR conversation while the decision's being made. It's so obvious that people are going to put 2 and 2 together, going, "Oh, he's clearly making a decision for him." And I just I disagree with the anti any team. I don't think that there is a bias towards any particular team. I just think it's generally just not good enough.
I think going back to what you said, Josh, the refs for me, that I feel like they're just terrified of making a decision.
Yeah, they are,
because it will be scrutinised. And as soon as the first thing they say, you see it on their faces. As soon as they make a call and the players all surround, they go, "It's going to be checked. It'll be checked." And you see them being all defensive.
It's going to be checked. It's
be quiet. Just it'll be checked. Don't worry. And then they're all full of glee when they get it right.
It's a funny thing. I remember I don't know how I remember. It's not that long ago, was it? When we didn't have VAR and refs actually had confidence in their own decisions because they made a decision. That's it. Leave me alone. I've made this decision. Walk away.
So many of the ex-pro refs have said how happy they are that they're not involved now.
Yeah.
And
imagine Pierluigi Collina with VAR. That'd be interesting.
Oh my God, he'd tell them to fuck
He'd
off.
never go to the screen.
It's my decision. It's final. Give them the eyes down the camera. Like, what did you?
The other thing is though, like we're talking about scrutiny and added scrutiny. Imagine if FIFA we would talk about, how good it will be if we can hear what the refs are saying, or you can hear it stadium wide, a bit like in NFL where they press a little button on their thing and it goes to the stadium audio and you can hear them say something and they just turn it off, things like this. But then you think the scrutiny. It's a good, quite partly, it's a good thing that FIFA don't allow that at the moment because it's just.
Yeah. Well, look at the scrutiny they got when they brought out the fuck up with the Spurs Liverpool game, and just the scrutiny down to how they were referring to each other, weren't they? Like it was like I can't remember the guy's name. So imagine if I was saying instead of Ben, I was going Benji. It's this one, Benji. It was all matey, wasn't it? And they're like, how can you have clear lines of communication? Pilots don't speak to each other like this with the air traffic controls. Well, they're not fucking landing a plane with fucking 500 people on, you dick. Do you know what I mean? Fuck off. They're humans. Oh, it's just mental, mate. It's just mental. I'm going to get told off for shouting in a minute. Lisa's gone to bed and she's right above. I'm getting too excited. I must calm down a bit.
Yeah, but it's just, we could have this conversation, and
we will again this season.
Yeah. It's just, I think ultimately my only thought, just to my rounding out, is that on the VAR is I would prefer now, originally being a massive proponent of VAR, just to completely get rid of it, because I think it'd be better for the refs, better for the game, better for media, better for discourse in the media, and better for general debate as well, and people's. Overall, it's kind of crept into your daily personal side of things.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you think about long term, if you think about what long term is going to happen to refereeing, they will become less effective. As in they'll rely so much on the video that they won't actually be particularly good referees.
I don't think we'll have referees at some point. I reckon there'll be overlords. VAR permanently, and it'll just be
there's
something there.
I mean, for me, the worst one is the offside one. For me, that I can't cope with it. I can't cope with when there's a player through on goal and he's clearly offside, and they carry on playing for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's funny because I heard how Webb recently say that they're not told to hold the flags. They're only told they're told to hold the flags when they think they're in a space where they're considered human error. So it's like, okay. Whereas if they're clearly offside, they do flag supposedly, but you're right, they don't sometimes.
They don't.
But I also
somebody's
going
to get clattered, aren't they? When that somebody's going to be through on goal and somebody's going to get clattered and break a leg or do a serious injury, and it's all going to be because you held that flag.
I would almost argue what they should be doing is raising the flag and then letting it play. Rather than not raising the flag. It's almost like it's a weird mental trick, isn't it? It's about uncertainty versus, if you built the flag up, the players, even though there's a flag, but they're told you can play on for 5-10 seconds, they'll just keep playing through the flag. But if it's like not gone up and you're not sure it's going up, I guess it's the same thing ultimately. But but then you get called back and you're like, oh, for God's sake, Whereas if you see it go up and you play for things, you think, oh yeah, okay, maybe.
Absolutely,
yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
The other thing
we'll get to AI controlling all this anyway. That semi-automated offside that's meant to be coming at the start of the season has now been pushed back to the first international break, then the second, then the third international break, now the fourth international break.
Yeah,
I think, which I don't know when it's going to come, but it'll be here this season supposedly. That might be beneficial.
Definitely. The other thing I was going to mention on the Arsenal is I went to Champions League last night. I went to watch Arsenal against Shakhtar Donetsk. It was a very flat and disappointing performance, if I'm completely honest. I think it's a bit of a hangover from what happened at the weekend. Still no Saka, still no Odegaard. Their fluency within the team seems to completely have gone, which is odd because I think over the last season and a bit, Arsenal have built a resilience to cope with a lot of adversity, and it was, we've now overcome this. They've now been able to turn this around. They're starting to do this and grow as a group, and they're taking 2 best players out of your team just kills a team at any level of football. So last night was pretty flat in the stadium, pretty flat performance. I feel awful for Gabriel Jesus, but I think he's done after watching him play in the flesh last night for a good 70 minutes. He was out on the right, which he is adamant that that's where he wants to play, which left Trossard in the middle, which left Havertz floating, and Havertz and Trossard floating between them, which was really odd when you've got a striker playing on the right, and he just, every time he got the ball, he went backwards. Honestly, people around us are going backwards again, getting really frustrated.
And Jesus have never really played particularly well together, though, have they? They used to drop Havertz back into midfield when Jesus would come up top.
You're right, and I think he's only playing because we were desperate. I'm sure, like others, I was half expecting to see Saka's name on that team sheet after Arteta playing his silly games.
He gave the impression, didn't he, that he would be?
Yeah. So it's I'm very worried. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm very worried about Liverpool. I think Liverpool are in a pretty good, they're fantastic vein of form and looking pretty good. You got the ability to, didn't they bench Diaz against Chelsea because of all of the long haul travelling he's been doing, and it just looked to be able to do that. Their front line is just incredible, but just be able to do that, it looks ominous. And no Saliba, and Calafiori getting injured last night as well. That looked really bad. At the time, it happened right in front of us. At the time, it looked bad. He got up, carried on. It's exactly what Timber did. Timber carried on and then went back down again and gone, actually, I've really hurt myself. And it was I've seen some images of it, and it looks like a very awkward twist of a knee and a fall. And just not going.
That's the thing about injuries and that. It swings around about, mate. You'll be fine. Arsenal will be fine. Just going through a bit of a different
It's a moment in time. Absolutely. I think a moment in time before like this would kill Arsenal. Yeah. Now I think it's an opportunity I think it's given Arteta a proper look at players that he was pretty unsure about. And he's answered a lot of questions. I think Sterling, we're not even paying much for him anyway, and we're still getting robbed. I think he's been absolute dog shit for us so far.
He's barely played though, hasn't he? At the same time.
Well, I think
he had laughing because it's a bit like
he had enough time. He had enough time last night, and he was god awful. He was hooked at Bournemouth, although I think he had like one of the only shots on target we had. He was awful then as well, and he's not trusted to do what Arteta needs him to do. That's why he was hooked. He could have taken Trossard off. He could have taken any of that front line off on Saturday. So I am very worried about Sunday, and I think
it's just squad, mate. It's squad depth, isn't it? You got to take a few. There's a few transfer windows of that, and you've tried this last transfer window to get some defensive cover.
We've let some really good players go, though.
Yeah, but it's, again, as I say, it's just a moment. Liverpool have looked really good, don't get me wrong, but I expect them to go through a small patch as well. And Man City haven't looked massively convincing.
But they don't need to, do they?
No, they don't. But they are the one team in the entire league who have the squad.
Yeah.
Really across the entire pitch.
Yeah.
So, and it takes 115 charges and billions of money to get to that stage.
Exactly. So think of 115 reasons why they're that good. Yeah.
Talking about Champions League though, quickly. What about Villa, top of the Champions League?
Fair play to them.
How about that?
Duran scoring again as well.
Yeah.
It's so strange, by the way, you're saying top of the Champions League table.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if that'll stay that way after tonight, because I see City are winning like 4-0, so I don't know how that's going to look. But even
don't tell me Haaland scored a hat trick when he does.
He's got two. He's got two.
One or two.
He's got two, definitely.
Got two. Prick.
So honestly, I think that's brilliant for Villa. I think fair play to them. They're playing their socks
doing
off.
Brilliant. There were question marks about whether they could do it because of the Europe and all that, but he's a European manager, really, isn't he? So
I think as it
knows that
stands,
Emery. So
he
knows that format very well.
Yeah.
As it stands, I think they remain top with Liverpool, but have a
so
better
that means
goal
there's
difference.
four English sides in the top 4. That'll be them, won't it?
3 in the top
8
because Arsenal, 3 in the top 3 and then 3 in the top 8. Arsenal were 8th, and Arsenal haven't lost. Arsenal have drawn 1 and won 2, so it's very tight, very tight.
Villa, Liverpool, City, Monaco, Brest, Leverkusen, Sporting, Arsenal.
Yeah, fair play to Brest. Who are Brest beating? They must be winning tonight. Oh no, they drew with Bayer Leverkusen. So yeah, it's I think
that's pretty impressive.
I think another 3 games will probably start to see where it levels out and where teams are. But fair play to them, they're doing fantastic, and they're exciting to watch, aren't they, Villa?
Good team,
really exciting to watch.
Team. Very good team, just fantastically coached, aren't they? Just
really
good coached.
Yeah, really good.
Is the proof of what a great coach can do.
Yeah,
I think no disrespect to Steven Gerrard, but
the
difference is night and day, isn't it?
Do you remember that photo I got with him? It was the day before he got sacked.
Do you
remember? Yeah, I was like, no, he was. I was in London and he was playing Fulham, I think. Fulham or Brentford the next day, and he got sacked after getting slapped by him. And
he looked like he was about to get sacked.
Yeah, he looked tired. Looked fucking. I looked at him again. I was like, is that definitely him, or is that somebody wearing a fucking Steven Gerrard mask? Makeup's a wonderful thing on TV, isn't it, when they're doing their appearances? But yeah, it is what a turnaround for them. So fair play to Villa, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
But you're right, Josh. I must remain positive. Do you know one thing that has just dawned on me though, which absolutely breaks my heart? We're round my mum and dad's on Sunday because she does a little Halloween thing for the kids. Who's a fucking Liverpool fan?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put up with that prick gloating. And do you know what? I called it was his youngest son's birthday on Sunday, and his eldest answered the phone going, Saliba. I didn't call for the abuse. I called to wish your brother happy birthday. And Jordan's obviously teed him up ready to sing the Saliba song the moment I called. So, yeah, that'll be a laugh, no doubt.
No, but that's what you live for, mate. Football.
That's the pants, mate.
2 different teams. That's great.
If it was the other way around, I promise you he would not want to watch it with me. But I'll just take it. I'll take it as it comes. I just need to coach Ethan, my eldest, to hold his tongue and not get upset about it when he's getting battered for it.
A massive family brawl.
Yeah, it'll be all right. All good. City are now 5 up, so that may very well be the Haaland hat trick. I'm not sure. Well, move on, Josh.
No, it's Nunes penalty.
No, it's not Nunes. Thank God.
Well, he must be off the pitch then, surely.
The Haaland thing was just for if we're willing to move on to a bit of fantasy.
Yes, let's do it.
Because
Jack's having a bit of a resurgence this season.
Yes.
Look at him, he's smiling for a change.
Yeah,
the casuals always do.
Get the phone out, mate.
And us pros are doing poorly. No,
us pros, look at you.
No,
clip that up, Josh.
I've already made like 3 transfers this week. Ooh, I've just got unlucky recently. Let's be frank here. I've made a couple of decisions that haven't really worked out for me. I got Calvert-Lewin in 3 weeks ago, and he's had 3 blanks in a row.
I did the same.
Haaland, captain's obviously been nothing for the last few. Solanke's had an assist in the last 2 or 3.
Saka's gone to red, by the way.
Has gone to red, yeah.
Yes, so I've had Luis Diaz as well, who hasn't played basically. A few minutes here and there. So, and surprisingly, I get in Raya and Gabriel, and they start exceeding goals.
I said last week, didn't I? I said I don't see many clean sheets coming up.
Yeah, you're right. You were right, Jack. Should listen to you. To be
honest,
you know what?
But I had a touch. I brought Michael Keane in, and he scored. And
I saw that.
I haven't seen the goal. It was an absolute worldie, though. Apparently,
I haven't seen it, but
I was well happy with that.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's interesting because I've actually got rid of my Liverpool players. Jordan, we love this. I've got rid of Trent. I've got rid of Diaz, who are the only 2 Liverpool players I had, despite the fact that they're probably the best team at the moment. It's so I've got Palmer in because from game week 12. Yeah, for the next couple, but from game week 12, trust me, you are going to want him. He's got, I think, I'll double check. So he's got Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal in the next 3. So that's not good. Don't get me wrong. Right. Yeah. But then after that, he has Leicester, Villa, okay, fair enough. Southampton, then Spurs. But then he's got Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves in a row. And basically, I just don't want to miss the hauls. He might not score for 2 games, but then he'll get a hat-trick. I just don't want to miss those. I've got Heung-min Son in for Saka because I'm pretty confident, although not 100%, that Saka's going to be out for this week. And he would have had, I think he's got Liverpool, then Newcastle, then Chelsea. So it's not ideal. And Son, okay, he did score, but it's more that he's fit. He's probably going to play 90 minutes. And they are the team with the most expected goals of any team in the league.
Who, sorry?
Spurs.
Yeah.
2.13 a game, 2.13 per 90. The next best is Man City with like 1.8 something.
Wow.
Per 90. So if Son's back and they're creating chances.
Yeah, Craig did well with Sonny, didn't he?
Yeah, Crystal Palace next, Villa, Ipswich for next few.
And then Bournemouth as well. I just noticed game week 14 is the first of the festive football. Amazon Prime have got it, and there's some cracking fixtures. So you got on the Wednesday, 4th of December, you've got Newcastle, Liverpool, and Arsenal, Man United on the same night, which is and City are playing the same night against Forest. And then Bournemouth have got Tottenham at Bournemouth on the Thursday. So lots of, although you'll have a few missing on your Thursday night football, then Josh for that.
Yes, indeed.
So
they've
interesting.
Got better things to do.
Yeah, right.
I've got 8 Nuri in from Wolves. They've had a terrible time, and I'm actually partly surprised that at this rate of carrying, they've still got a job. But they've had a real tough run.
Can't afford to sack him, mate. They've just given him a new contract.
Well, they've had Arsenal, Chelsea, Forest, Newcastle, badly, Liverpool, Brentford, Man City.
They're going through one of them periods where they're actually playing quite good football.
Yeah,
it's really tough on them.
They haven't had a game where, apart from the opening game, they scored in every game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they've just had 1 draw against Forest, and the rest they've lost. So, but the next few, come on, they got Brighton this week, but then they got Palace, Southampton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, Ipswich, Leicester.
Okay.
In a row. So Wolves players like Cunha, Aït-Nouri, Larson, he's the cheaper version of the forwards, are good shouts. Chelsea players from game week 12, but I'm getting Palmer in right now. So Colwell's a good shout probably in a couple of weeks time. Everton players, they've still got a good run of fixtures. Defenders are getting a bit better. They've had a couple of clean sheets in a row now. So Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Brentford next 4. Like you were saying about Michael Keane. And then, as I say, I've got Spurs. So Solanke and Son. And Buemo for me is just like nailed. He's just not going anywhere. I'm not going to get rid of him.
I feel dirty. I've just hovered over the potential of swapping Saka out for Son.
Filth.
Well, don't just follow me. I suck at this.
No. I think just looking at the fixtures, it makes sense. I feel like I may have missed the boat with him a little bit after his performance at the weekend.
Hardly. He's still there. He's still cheaper than Saka as a player. So
yeah.
Brian and Buemo from Brentford, they've got Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester. Next few. So, it's all about getting decent players nailed in the team against good fixtures, and ultimately that's what I'm trying to do. But I feel like I'm playing a bit of catch up at the moment. So, in fancy terms,
you have to make some gut ballsy decisions there, Joshy. Take a few risks.
Well, I've done my 3 transfers all in one this week already. Aït-Nouri, Palmer, Son in for Saka, Trent, and Diaz. So. We'll see.
Interesting.
It could be a disaster.
Yeah.
How about you, Benjamin?
Well, I got rid of Calvert-Lewin. I got so pissed off because I thought he was going to do something. He was actually starting to play really well, and I knew he had decent fixtures, so I brought him in, and like you, and he did absolutely bugger all. So I transferred him out immediately on Saturday when he did nothing. I was like, I'm so bored of you. I've taken a risk and it didn't pay off. So I've actually brought in Raul for him because he seems to.
Raul Jimenez.
Yeah. He's hit a bit of a purple patch, and he seems to be scoring regularly, and he's the go-to guy there. He's penalty taker, and they're doing quite well for them. So taking a bit of a chance on him as my budget striker. The other dilemma I've got is similar to you in that I need to do something with Saka. I was hoping I kept hold of him, and I was hopeful that he'd make a quick recovery, but it would appear not.
Well, if he's fit, he's worth keeping. It's just he's got a couple of bad fixtures.
Exactly.
Because he's been injured.
Exactly.
People are just, and it's mainly, honestly, it's not Saka. It's because Son and Palmer are looking pretty. I know Son's just come back, but Son has got good fixtures in a team that create a lot of chances against some good teams coming up. It was good fixtures to play. Yeah. And Palmer's just, in my mind, in the next few, even in difficult fixtures, he can just turn it on. So it's not Saka that's an issue. It's just that the other ones around that price range might be
because Foden's coming back as well
at the moment. So that's all it is. Yeah, Foden, but he's not getting any minutes. You know,
but he played Foden tonight. He played the whole game tonight.
That means I don't reckon he'll start the weekend again.
Well, the only thing they did say is Jack Grealish is out now for a few weeks.
Is he?
Yeah. That was probably.
Don't forget Foden's nailed on. If he's fit, he's nailed on in that team.
Well, you say that. He's been fit for the last.
I don't think he has though. I don't think he has been properly fit. He's been very careful with how many minutes he's given him.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. Anyway, as like everyone, I'm disappointed with Haaland as well. But I mean, I can't not captain him against Southampton.
No, you can't. No.
Oh, at home. I've heard people suggesting triple captaining him against Southampton.
Yes, that is a shout as well. Don't get me wrong, that's a good shout.
Whether you hold for a double game week or this,
I was going to say, outside of a double game week, it's probably the best fixture he can have at home against Southampton.
Especially after what happened to him at the weekend as well. It's the void of confidence.
I will not blame anyone who triple captains in. It's not a bad shout.
No, fair play.
I personally am going to try and hold for a double game week once I know what they're going to be next in March or so. But if the worst comes to the worst and I can't play it in a double game week, then I'll just have to settle for a slightly subpar single week fixture. You know, back then. It's probably the least effective of the chips in overall terms. Because if you're triple captaining him, most people are captaining him, so you're only getting a third more points.
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah.
50%, sorry. So anyway,
I've been quite lucky, to be fair. With I've got a decent defence who score quite well. I always have one of them that pops up and does something out of the three. So my three go-to defenders at the moment are Guardiola, Gabriel, and Trent. So at least one of those in a game pops up and does something pretty much every week, even if
Guardiola.
He's like a striker as well, isn't he?
Totally. And he plays so high up the pitch. He's mental.
Yeah.
I've got Rico Lewis, but he's just not had it at the moment. He's playing a lot and he's playing in midfield a lot, but he's just not. It's not producing.
He's more of a midfield enforcer, isn't he, than an attacking defender. If that makes sense.
I've got a little bit of thing. I need to have a little look at this before the game week because I think I probably need to do something else. But I'm still top. Just just behind me. But I've been there for.
He had a good week, didn't he?
Yeah, Rubes at the moment, his team seems to have it because he's gone all out. He's got like Palmer, Salah, Haaland. He's gone like premium players with a few slightly ropey runs around him. So if all the premium players turn up, he does it as a good week. But if they don't, he has a bit of a bad week. So he tends to have one good week, one bad week. So
3 of his back 4 are dog shit. You got that Van der Berg. I say he's dog shit. It's a bit harsh. Van der Berg at Brentford, James Justin and Harwood Bellis. Putting a Saints defender in your team is suicide, isn't it? He only came in because Saka didn't play. I appreciate that, but Rodgers has done well for him as well. Rodgers is, I think we've spoken about him before. He's a good player, very good player. So it's just interesting. A big game week, I think, with that City Saints fixture. I'd be nervous if I was a Southampton fan.
Yeah.
Take your.
I mean, it's also like Liverpool playing Arsenal as well. Like quite a few people have got Arsenal defenders
and Liverpool attackers.
You know, I'm contemplating not playing Gabriel and playing Mikalenko against Fulham at home instead. You know, even though I've got Guerrero in goal and I've got no choice.
Yeah.
Even though he's a premium defender, I'm just not. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
Anyway.
Interesting. Yeah, it'll be an interesting week, definitely.
I think that rounds things off quite nicely, gentlemen.
Yes,
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I need to go to
Nothing
bed.
specific.
Yeah. No, I might,
My
Josh,
eyes
tomorrow
are bleeding.
come and watch a bit of Thursday football. Might go for a bit of a swim before and come and, if it's as mild as it is this evening, I might come and watch and cheer on the boys from the side. At least something to do on a Thursday instead of sat home watching shitty United play in the
all right.
Conference Cup or whatever.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I'm playing football instead of watching them. So what can I say?
Yeah, it's Mourinho as well, isn't it? You're up against Mourinho, which is just written in the stars, isn't it? For some proper shithousery in there somewhere. That'd be fun. Anyway,
lads.
All right, boys.
Thank you very much.
Talk to you,
Cheers
always.
for listening, guys. And thank you very much, boys.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Cheery bye.